Here for the Kia Hyundai channel, welcome to our live video series. This one is special. This is probably the very first Kia Stinger Scorpion edition in Canada. If it's not the first one in Canada, it's probably the first video. So we're gonna take a look at this, and here's what went on to actually get it here. I had to zip out to the compound just within the past hour or so, bring it back here, strip it of all the plastic, run it through the touchless car wash, and bring it in here. So we are getting this vehicle to you absolutely as quick as possible. And yeah, we know a lot about Stingers, so we're going to talk about this one. All right, here's how this works. If you haven't seen our videos before, we're doing this live. If you're not watching live with us, you can skip ahead to the 3-minute mark, which is where we'll start with the content on this video. In the meantime, we'll talk about some news, some notes, talk about a few other things, and we'll also show you how to join us live if that's something you want to do. Before you skip ahead, though, I want you to know that we are not a review channel. This isn't a vehicle we're just going to do one time and then never talk about again. If you have questions and you want to see more about this vehicle, hit the subscribe button because we will carry this vehicle quite a bit. All right, let's zoom in here to our screen and show you how to join us live. If you go to our YouTube channel exactly at 2 o'clock Eastern time, right there, you will see basically a video down right where my mouse, there we go, down here. If you refresh the page exactly at 2 o'clock like we're doing right now, you'll see that that video is gone and you have replaced our live video tab. You're gonna click that, and while you do that, you're gonna have to watch a quick little ad. While you're watching that ad, I'm gonna run a really quick ad for ourselves. There are 3 dealers that support this, this YouTube channel: Brantford Kia, Brantford Hyundai, and Owen Sound Hyundai. If you are in the market for a new car and you live in Ontario, connect with me after this video. There'll be a link in the description, and you can connect with me and I will hook you up with them, and they will treat you as if you were me, as if, well, hopefully better, because they don't really tell me much about the cars, but hopefully they'll tell you a lot more. And yeah, so they'll take care of you, and that's how we'll help you out. So there's your ad. I'm gonna skip the ad that I'm watching for a dealership in Hamilton, which is not even a Kia dealer or a Hyundai dealer. All right, so yes, somebody says, glad you got the Stinger in and can't wait for the Kona as well. Yeah, we were gonna do a Kona because there was a rumor that I was gonna be able to get this car today, and then I was told this morning that that wasn't gonna happen, and then I got a phone call saying, listen, I've kind of escalated this. Apparently there's some people at head office that want me to get this on video as soon as possible. So somebody pulled some strings and we had a bit of a rush, and that's how we got the car. So kind of cool. If you're a regular with us, do me a favor, hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to as many likes as regulars and go from there. Somebody says Jeff. No, Jeff is Hyundai. So this is people in the Kia head office, not just our dealership group. So pretty fun day when these kinds of things happen, and I got to throw my plans out the window and try to remember what I'm doing. So 15 seconds to go. It is Thanksgiving weekend here in Canada, or as I like to call it, real Thanksgiving. The Americans have the American Thanksgiving later. We do it earlier, so we will be not here on Monday, but we will be here on Tuesday next week. So just a little refresh. All right, we're 3 minutes in, so we gotta get going on this video. Hey everybody, it's Peter from the Kia Hyundai channel, and today we have the Canadian version of the Kia Stinger Scorpion. Pretty excited to talk about this car. Those of you who don't know me, just going to give a real quick background on why I know these cars. When I first started doing Stinger videos here at Brantford Kia, I used to do them outside. We didn't have the studio, and Kia USA saw me. They flew me to California. I did some YouTube videos for them down at a professional film shoot. So I've been following this car literally since it was brand new. I've been involved with this car. I've taken it to the racetrack twice. I've driven it on the racetrack. I've been driven by professional drivers on the racetrack, which is better because they're super good and you can really find out what this car is like. I spent a lot of time around this car, so I'm hoping that I can do justice to what this car is all about, and we're going to talk about it in this video. Let's do that right now. All right, flipping around here. I have a little issue today, so usually I put your comments up there. It helps me see them, guys, so if I miss them a little bit, I will come back to them a few times. No problem there. All right, so here we go. First thing I'm going to show you is the key. Key, of course, has the new Kia logo. This is the 2022 Stinger, so instead of having the rounded top button, we've gone back to basically the same keys we have in every other car now. So they've all copied the Stinger, except we used to have the round button up top. Now we have the square button up there. And then you have, of course, unlock. It is a powered trunk, so you have the power hold trunk. The trunk also opens automatically on its own. We can talk about that as well. And then the remote start button is on the key fob, which is one thing Stinger owners from before were always asking about. And that is something that is now standard. So you tap the lock button, hold the remote start button, and the car will start on its own, which is pretty cool. People have also been asking for more power in the Stinger, and this has more power than the previous generation Stinger. And it's only got 3 more horsepower, so it's probably just the exhaust tuning. How does it feel when you drive? Exactly like the last car, which is a good thing. It's more power is not that. Somebody says, what's the name of this color? And that's a very good point. This is the Ghost Gray Stinger. It is the Scorpio edition, so we're going to talk about visually what's different on the outside. We're going to talk about visually what's different on the inside, and then we're going to show you this car in detail because this is probably a car you want. And I've been on the record a few times as saying that this is likely the last version of the Stinger we're going to get, the last generation of Stinger we're going to get. So if you want something unique, there are less than 200 of these coming to Canada, and you could be the owner of one of these cars. It's going to be a bit of a collector car, and you know that because Hot Wheels has a car like this. All right, first thing that's obvious on this car is the new wheels. Everybody talks about them being black, which is obvious. What they don't talk about is these are probably the most open Stinger wheels you have around here, and they show off your Brembo brakes a lot better, which I think is cool. Brembo brakes are awesome on this car. The other thing you've got is, instead of having a dark chrome version right back here, you have sort of a little bit more of a black trim there, which looks pretty cool. And that's a functional vent. A lot of people don't know this, but many of our cars have a functional vent out front here. And you do have, I don't know if I can show you any air through there, but that is a functional vent that helps cool the brakes. And then you also have sort of a functional exhaust vent back here on the Stingers. The Stinger is built from the ground up to be a performance vehicle. In Canada, we've always only had the all-wheel drive Stinger, and this is no different. Our Scorpion edition is only all-wheel drive. So you've got all-wheel drive, cooling on the brakes there, some black trim there. You still have the dark chrome out front here. Of course, the 2022 model has these sort of floating looking areas there, which is pretty cool. And really no lighting differences. Some people have said that these LED lights are different, but I believe they're the exact same as the Canadian ones. Vents up top. Now, they're non-functional vents. Why are they non-functional vents up there? I asked in the past why we would do this if they're non-functional, knowing that every automotive journalist other than me is going to make fun of them. And the reality was, we've seen people at head office that have seen this car without the vents, and apparently it just doesn't look very good. So they are a styling element, and they do help with the look of the car. Overall here, you still have some dark chrome wrapping around the windshield. This is a coupe with sleek, long lines. It's a very long looking car, even though it's not all that long. The K5 is actually a longer car than this. Down here, you've got the same wheels back there. Come along the back side. Instead of having sort of the more chromed or dark chromed exhaust pipes, you do have sort of black ones there. The exhaust is improved for 2022 with a better sound. It's louder if you want it to be. There's also some enhancements on the inside, but it is pretty cool. It has a little baffle in there that can make it sound pretty cool in sport mode. So yeah, it's just an improvement you like to see. The diffuser down there, of course. Out the back, new logo is the standard. So Kia up top. The American one only says Stinger here. Of course, we show our new logo. The Americans, I guess, are afraid of buying cars that say Stinger logo. And but you have Kia up top, Stinger down there, GT all-wheel drive, which is a full description of the car. And of course, you have this spoiler, a functional spoiler. It actually is in a line that it aerodynamically will have some function. So that's good to know. It's not just a styling piece, and it's kind of got some cool little detail in there. It's a little more interesting the way it kind of wraps up and has a little bit of an edge in there. So yeah, it looks pretty cool. It does not really interfere with your view out the rear window. Stingers don't have huge rear windows anyways, but you can sort of see it just kind of, you know, it'll touch up a little bit in there depending how tall you are, but really not a big interference. We're going to show you the lights in a second, which of course are also new for 2022. But now let's jump inside the vehicle and take a look there. Actually, before we do that, let's just talk about pricing of the car. Of course, if you go to the Kia Canada website right now, I'll show you that right now. They really don't show a lot of this car. This is sort of their preview page. And when you scroll up or down on it, basically says, here's the Scorpion. It's pretty awesome, $54,695. I do want to point out that's Canadian dollars. And when you start looking at the American price of the Stinger, the rear-wheel drive, I mean, we're talking a really good comparative price in Canada compared to the States, because of course we have Canadian dollars, and you know, it should be a lot more expensive if you do the direct conversion from the States. But of course, it just says order now. So actual pricing on this car, it is one step above. There's the GT Elite in Canada for 2022, one step above that, $54,695. So really, you know, more expensive than the very first Stingers, but you're getting a lot more than the very first generation Stingers as well. We're gonna talk about that as we jump inside. So we're gonna cover technology, we're gonna cover a lot of things that maybe not everybody else covers in this video. Take a look down here. Keep in mind, it is dirty inside, and you gotta keep in mind, guys, that probably an hour ago, I was at the compound picking up this car, which is a gravel dirt compound. So I literally have not had time to clean this car. I just want to make sure it made it to our live video. So do forgive me for some of the mess in here. But down here, you've got, yesterday I had to tell you guys that some of the best seats in the industry. These are the best seats that Kia and Hyundai have, and I'll show you why. First of all, power seats, and they are memory seats. So memory seats, of course, are important. Not every powered seat in the Kia lineup has the memory seats, but they're good. Here's some hint of the carbon fiber we'll talk about in just a second here. But again, some shipping plastic on here. If you see some of the shipping plastic, that's not a quality issue. That's just some of the shipping plastic we didn't get to peel off because we had to go live. So you've got the power seats. Then you've got this section right here, which is going to lengthen the seat right here. If you lengthen that seat out, you can, no matter if you're short or tall, you will have this seat fit exactly under your tall legs even. And then, of course, you have lumbar support, which can go in and out, but you can also move that lumbar up and down so it fits perfectly. And then this little switch is my favorite little switch. It's the switch that just tells the car, it's the way the car tells you it loves you. It hugs you. So that your side bolsters there can pinch in to that power switch, and you can pinch them in just a little bit to snug it up. So if you're a bigger person, you can still have it snug, but even if you're a very small person, you can feel what it feels like to have nice side bolstering, properly adjusted, custom adjusted for you. And what's also cool is when you put the car into sport mode, those side bolsters will also give you a little hug, tell you it loves you, and also hold you in place. This is Napa leather in this model. As we said, it's an upgrade from the GT Elite series, but that is Napa leather, so you're getting the best of the best in this car. Jumping in here, let's take a look at the gauges. All right, the one other thing I want to show you about the seats is something I forgot, but I just sort of rediscovered again now. These seat headrests, you can put them exactly where you want. So let me just show you how I did that. I'm trying to do this left-handed here. Hold the camera, click, click, click. So you can see that they're jumping in and out. They can lock in some of those clicked spots there. So if you want the headrest to sit a little closer to your head while you're driving or further back, you can set it closer or further back like that. So again, full seat adjustments there. Everything is there that you need. Now, when we talk about an improved interior on this car, first thing we got to talk about is this 10.25 inch screen. For the longest time, it only had the 8-inch screen. The 2022 models come with the 10.25 inch screen. Now, we can't turn the car on fully because we are in the video bay here, which is an indoor room, but I will show you what you've got when you take a look in here. First thing we did there is I was playing around with a couple little things here. We didn't even have time to put fuel in the car. Let me turn the climate system off here. But the first thing I want to show you is, before we get into the technology, because this car is all about customization, the same way the seat can be customized to fit you, every piece of the technology in this car can be customized just for you. And to me, if you're buying a performance car or even a luxury car, and maybe this isn't even in the market of a luxury car in your mind, it really is a luxury car. And when you buy that, it should be customized exactly for you. So one thing I think is really important about this new 10.25 inch screen is they have these different driver modes: driver 1, driver 2, and guest. Now you can rename those, driver 1 and driver 2. If you want to put your first name on it, you can do that, or whatever name you want to call it. But because so much of this car is customizable, and we're going to show you that in this video, some of the things that you can customize, because so much of it is customizable, if you do share the vehicle, sometimes you're going to customize this thing so much that the car is perfectly set up for you, but it may not be what somebody else wants. And it's just the same as sharing a cell phone with someone. We almost never, I don't think anybody shares a smartphone with anybody. But if you did, it would be weird to have to adapt to their things. And in a car, it's even more so. The safety equipment, the technology, all those kinds of things, they really are customizable. So the big thing you're gaining here that nobody ever talks about is this driver 1 and driver 2 mode allows you to customize that. So let's talk about that technology in just one second. But first, we'll look over here. Again, analog gauges, which is kind of just the throwback to, true performance cars. You want a good, well-labeled analog gauge all the way to 300 kilometers an hour. Fuel, we definitely need some, and miles per hour, kilometers per hour. You can put lots of information in there. You also have what's impossible to film accurately, a very clear heads-up display. Now, I'm going to show you with my fingers how big it is on my fingers. That's how big it is on my fingers, and you can see it's much bigger in person than it is on camera. But you have a full color I don't know about full color, but multi-color, definitely a color heads-up display here. It can show navigation information, it can show safety information, even little things like when you go over the speed limit, if it senses the speed limit from your navigation unit. Let's say the speed limit is 60 kilometers an hour. If you are going excuse me, if you're going 1 kilometer an hour over that, it will switch to an orange speedometer. If you're going 10 kilometers an hour, it will switch to a red speedometer. So you know at a glance how much over the speed limit you are, which is kind of cool to have in a performance car. It'll also give you things like your blind spot information. So of course you have, let's just take the water off this mirror. Again, I just had this car cleaned very quickly. But you can see your blind spot detection right there. That also will display in a little bit different graphic in your heads-up display. And I always say don't rely on that, if you don't see someone there. But if you do see someone in your heads-up display, you know there's someone beside you. You don't even have to check your mirror. You can't signal, you can't go. So a lot of information in your heads-up display there, which is pretty cool. And you can customize that. Again, we'll show you that in just a second. Inside here, Little different gauges in here. We used to have sort of the bar graph gauges. Now, of course, 2022 models, you have these dial gauges. There's your torque in Newton meters because we have it set for that. Your turbo in PSI. And the Celsius, the temperature gauge there as well. So you can customize a lot of information here. My favorite thing is we're just going to turn the car on for a quick second. When you signal left or when you signal right, you have the cameras that will show you your blind spots as well. So we spent a lot of time talking about blind spots, but yeah, we have the camera that show the blind spots. While we're at it, I'm going to start the car just one more time because it's Friday, and if my boss thinks there's too many fumes in his office, he'll have to leave. Check out the headlights when you start the car. Start it up. They're going left and right. Oh, sorry, down and up and left and right. There we go. So they are self-leveling, and they can sort of turn a little bit around corners and that kind of thing. So very cool headlight design there. When you have it in the auto setting, let me just show you what that is. When you have the headlights in the auto setting like you have right there, they will do that movement for you as necessary to level itself, go around corners if you turn the wheel, that kind of thing. It will also have an auto high beam setting in the auto setting. If you don't want it to do any of those things, just turn it to the full on setting and it won't do that. So that's kind of a cool system to have there. 8-speed transmission. And you've got the torque or the paddle shifters on both sides here. The torque, I should point out, let's talk about maximum torque on this car. Maximum torque is about 13 or 1400 RPM right through beyond. I'll have to check the exact spec, but the point is torque is that pulling power, and it comes in really early and stays on throughout the rev range. So this isn't a car you have to rev the snot out of in order to feel the power. It's just a really good performance car for feeling that power right up front. All right, let's show you some of the technology. Actually, let's just show you the interior really quickly first before we dig in technology. This was usually a silver type trim on the other cars. It is a carbon fiber look. I'm pretty sure it's not actual carbon fiber, but we all know that. But it's a carbon fiber look now throughout. A lot of you don't love the piano blacks in our cars, so this kind of eliminates that silver or piano black by giving you another textured style look. Down here, you do have an improved for 2022 wireless phone charger. It is vented. It is a faster charger, so of course that'll keep your phone cooler as it charges with the ventilation there as well. 12-volt port, which I don't think anybody really uses anymore. Maybe for a webcam or a dash cam or something. USB port there, and of course the wireless charging will show you here if your phone's charged, whatever. And of course you can hide it in there as well. So interesting gear shift at the park. Yeah, so gear shift is a digital shifter, much like our electric cars. It fits perfectly in your hand. It's just got the nice real shape. You can tap it down and drive, you can tap it up in reverse, and you can press the P for park. If you happen to turn the car off, instead of putting it in park, it will place it in park. A lot of people really like that gear shifter there, so pretty good system there. And let's dig into a little bit of technology just to show you some of the ways you can customize this car. This happens to be one of the, like the home screen. There's actually a second sort of home screen you can use for all kinds of things. Little technology that I like to show. It's on a lot of our cars now. You can look at the Doppler radar. It was raining in the area. It's not raining anymore. You can see the storm has been moving through. So little Doppler radar right there in your car if you wanted that. Also HD traffic, all kinds of things. Let's just show you some of the settings that you can do in this car. The setup. Normally the general setup is just like a software update. It doesn't tell you a whole lot, but you can do things like change the language in this car, keyboard, units. And the units used to be like kilometers or miles, Celsius or Fahrenheit for temperature. You also have the fuel efficiency, kilometers per liter or liters per 100 kilometers. Tire pressure you can choose. So something like my GM pickup truck and some of the other sports cars that would maybe compete with this, when you choose like Celsius, it forces you to have like kilopascals, which nobody has a clue what that is for pressure. Maybe you do in Europe, but nobody in North America has a clue. So you can still keep some things at PSI or pound feet. So we can switch that to pound feet because most people know what pound feet is. And now we have, that's what we wanted. And instead of reading Newton meters over here, pound feet of torque, you can see that. So, because again, in North America, nobody knows what a Newton meter is. So you can really mix and match some of your things out here, PSI, kilopascal. So again, we got PSI and pound feet and PSI there. Liters per 100 kilometers, which is Canadian. Celsius, which is Canadian. Or I say Canadian, but you know what I'm saying, Canadian versus American. If you're a Canadian, you understand speed and distance, temperature in Celsius, fuel economy in liters per 100 kilometers. But we still do PSI and pounds feet for pressure. And that's just a nice way to customize everything out here, which I really like. Media options, there's a ton of stuff in here as well, but we'll look at that later. Overall, the vehicle you can customize in a few different ways as well. Just so you know, those of you who are waiting to ask questions, feel free to keep asking them now. Normally, I've taken questions by now, but I want to go over some of the technology, and then we'll take your questions. While we're at it, let's see if we can hit 60 likes today. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, keep hitting the like button. If this is a video that maybe you haven't seen before, other people haven't done for you, then it's Friday, it's my Thanksgiving Friday. hit a like for me just as a courtesy. All right, smart cruise control reaction. So you can set all kinds of things in here. And this is where I talk about that driver mode being useful. When you're on smart cruise control, you may want to react quicker or slower for you or somebody else. There's a ton of driving convenience features in here, highway driving assist, auto speed change. So it's using your navigation information to help you out with on cruise control for speed limits and even slowing down in curves and speeding back up again. Pretty cool in there. Again, a lot to go over. This is just very much of an overview. Some of your warning timings are standard, normal, medium. Driver attention warning you can set up in different ways. Leading vehicle departure, so when a car in front of you pulls away, instead of having the guy behind you honk at you, your car will beep at you before that happens. You can say, hey, you should keep moving. Inattentive driving warning, if you're not paying attention, it's going to say, hey, maybe it's time to take a break. You can turn those things on or off. Forward safety, we'll talk about some of these active assist versus warning only. This, of course, can warn you if you're about to hit a collision, about to get in a collision. Various speeds, it works differently, but the active assist is capable of stopping or braking the car on its own. You may want to be warned only. You can do that as well. Same thing with the lane safety. The previous Stinger used to have only lane keeping assist and an active assist system. So instead of just the lane keeping assist, which you see down over here, you now add in the lane follow assist. Lane follow assist is really the one you want. It's going to keep you centered in the lane, actively steering this car centered in the lane. And the thing I really like with the lane following assist on a sports car especially is when you get on the highway, you want to do some cruising, it'll keep you centered in the lane. Along with your smart cruise control, it'll sort of almost drive the car by itself. But the nice thing is on a sports car, you come off the highway entrance ramp and you want to hug those corners. This is going to want to keep you centered in the lane. So you can just at the tap of a button turn it back off. You can hug those corners in through a exit ramp and turn it on or off right from the wheel, and it just makes a lot of sense in this car. Blind spot safety, again, active assist. Anything that says active assist is actively going to steer you if you need to. That's the symbol that shows up in your heads-up display. This is almost the exact thing it shows, although that doesn't look like a Stinger to me. I guess it kind of is. So this is the exact display that you see in your heads-up display. When there's someone in your blind spot, you're going to see that there. And you can get it to just warn you. It can be a warning, but the active assist will mean that if you turn into the lane and there's somebody else coming in from another lane, you're not going to miss them because there's a camera here and there's the mirror there. But let's say you're pulling into this lane and somebody else is pulling in the same lane. That's a situation that's really hard to avoid, but this car will sense that happening and it will actually brake the front right wheel in that case and pull the car back into that area. Parking safety, we've got some other things in there. Rear cross traffic alert. And why don't we just try to show you those backup cameras here while we're looking at it here. So this is the backup camera. Of course, when I turn the wheel here, it's hard to do a little bit, but you can see the blue line will stay lined up with you. The yellow line kind of curves where you're going. So if the blue line, if you were to go straight, in other words, you line the blue line up with a parking spot that you're backing into, those side lines will perfectly line up with the side lines. It'll pull you in place. And then you can also see the swing. If I turn the car wheel a little sharper, which is a little hard to do, you can see that tells you where the front will swing as well as where the rear will go. And then what I like is when you go forward, you also have a forward-facing camera. There's a little bit lower car in the front, not that low, but you don't want to damage any of it on a front curb or anything like that. So the front camera will replace this when you're going slow speed forward. And of course, if you're parallel parking, you don't want to damage those nice wheels. You can do that as well. So there's a lot of technology still to show you. Automatic climate control, drive modes. We're going to come back in, take a look at the drive modes. Actually, we'll just show you quickly the drive modes right now. Drive modes are right here. We're going to turn them for you and show you. Heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, the auto start stop. If you wanted it on, you could have that on as well. Just want to show you quickly the drive modes as we take a look in here. The thing I love is the custom mode. We'll talk about that in a second here. So where are my drive modes? Right there. So sport, comfort, eco, and smart. And remember, when you put it into the sport mode, your side bolsters are going to hug in on you, hold you tight in the seat. And then the custom drive mode is pretty cool because maybe you want the suspension to be adjusted for sport, but you want the drivetrain to be more of a eco mode or a comfort mode, or maybe you want the other way around. You want it to be really powerful and sporty, but you want a little bit softer suspension. You can really customize that custom drive mode there, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's turn the car off for a second. We are going to take your questions. We were going to go for, I think it was 60 likes. We're, 23 or so away. So let's see if we can get to 60 likes today. I'm going to jump out and take your questions right now. We got a lot more to show you on this vehicle. We're going to stay on a little bit longer today. It's Friday. Fridays are fun days. And I want to make sure that if you guys have questions, we're answering it. I'm also going to show you the rear seat space, which is pretty good in this car. I'm going to show you the trunk space, which is also pretty good. We're going to use our little trunk measurement tool over there, our little teddy bear, and he's not so little. So he's usually the star of the show when we bring him in. So stick around for that. And again, I'm just going to take your questions, and bear with me for a second. I got to log back into my computer because I had it on the wrong page, and it's not going to stay up. All right. Let me just take a look here. And if you have a question that you are thinking of asking, now's a good time to ask it. It does take a second or so to get to me. So go ahead and feel free to ask them. Even if you're first time here, you can say hello. All right. Someone says, didn't know we had the Scorpion in Canada. Yeah, I don't think they've done a great job of advertising this. When the car first came out, the 2022 came out, the United States had this big thing where they did a big fancy thing, and wow, we got a Scorpion edition. And then we heard from Canada, yeah, we don't have that. And then all of a sudden they kind of snuck it out through our just our internal documents. Hey, the Scorpion's coming. And actually the way I found out was one of the head office people, he gave me a call. He's like, hey, I'm just calling you because I'm a fan of the car, but I just want you to know the Scorpion's coming. So he let me know it was coming before anybody else found out, and that was kind of cool. So that was nice to have. All right, looking for a 2022 Stinger GT2 Select all-wheel drive metal color red seats. Do y'all deliver? Can't sell a Canadian car to Americans, so you can move to Canada and just buy one here. Ghost Gray available only in black, white, or Ghost Gray. Oh, and so Tim says 120 in Canada. I thought it was a few more than that, but yeah, Tim's my general manager, so he's telling me, yeah, Ghost Gray, black, or white. So those are the colors, and bear with me. I'm just getting over a little bit of a cold. It's not what you guys think it is. I've had a test. All right. How hard is it to remove the rear wing? Is it hollow plastic? Oh, you can see out the back. The wing doesn't block the back. I think I tried to show that earlier in the video. So I don't know how hard it is to remove it. I've literally had this car for probably less than an hour before we went live on video here. And I haven't tried to remove anything yet. I'm going to just leave it as is. Okay, let me see here. Carbon fiber should replace piano black in all the cars. Yeah, a lot of people are going to like this carbon fiber. I don't mind the piano black. I think it looks really nice, but I think a lot of people are going to really like the carbon fiber. Why did Kia take the coasting feature out of the 2021 models and put it back in the 2022 models? To be honest, I didn't know they took it out of the 2021 models. I hadn't paid attention that much. So there's a coasting feature where it kind of decouples the drivetrain to help with a little bit of a fuel efficiency. It's an option in the information. Remember I said you can customize so many things? Yeah, it just saves you a tiny bit of fuel efficiency. I didn't realize they had taken it out for a single year. I didn't know that. What actual function does a spoiler play from an aerodynamic standpoint? Exactly what it's supposed to do. Basically helps the air come off the car cleanly. Oops, let me just zoom back out again. So a spoiler is designed to, as you go through speed, to make sure the air cuts off cleanly on the back of the car so that there's not this drag, this pull behind the car that slows it down. I've been told it is a functional aerodynamic spoiler. So sometimes it can help with downforce, sometimes it can help with the cutoff. It looks like it has a little bit of an upswing to it. Excuse me. So I would assume it helps a little bit with downforce. I haven't asked these specific details about how it works, but I have been told it is a functional detail, not just a fashionable detail, which is kind of nice to have. And that's really what the Stinger's all about. The Stinger is, although it looks pretty cool, it's all about function. It's really awesome. A GT car is designed for essentially grand touring is how the GT name came about. And that makes sense with this car. This car is all about a high-speed touring car. However, having been on the track with these cars, they are phenomenal on the track and in the hands of a skilled driver. Like I've gone around corners on the track at 60, 70 kilometers an hour and felt on the verge of traction, some slip, feeling the car at its grip. And then I've gone through the same corners with a professional driver at 110, 120 kilometers an hour with no slip. So in the hands of a skilled driver, this car is absolutely incredible. Even in the hands of me as an average driver, you can wag the tail a little bit if you need to, but it is very secure. Very easy to drive fast. So someone asked me how much lighter are the Scorpion wheels than the other wheels, and that's one of the things that I've wanted to look into, but I don't have available on my actual spec sheet. So I'm going to look into some of that stuff. They certainly look lighter. They look like there's less there, but I haven't got the spec on that. So these are the kinds of things I'm going to look up. Keep in mind, we're not just a review channel. We're going to have these vehicles back in here again and again and again, and we'll start to answer some of those questions as we get it. Can you get the red leather in the Scorpion models in Canada? I don't believe you can get the red leather in this trim. I think it's just the black Napa leather. Excuse me, guys. I should take my water in here. Okay. Where are we here? Let me just keep going through. Somebody says they missed the question and answer section, so go ahead. If you missed the question and answer, ask your question now. I'm going to move on, but I'll come back to your questions as well. Rear seat space. One of the big things with a performance car, and I think Kia nailed this from the start, is, I better not put my footprints on this. Get the little, actually, let's just take a look there. There's your fuel efficiency numbers, 13.7, 9.6, which is pretty good for the size of the engine power on this car. 54,695, so we're going to put that in the middle of the car. One of the things Kia really focused on is rear seat space in a sports car, because generally speaking, it's awful. Somebody just asked, does it have the variable exhaust? And it does. Excuse me for my cough, guys. I have a little bit of a tickle, and I didn't bring my water in here today because I was rushing to get this car here. All right, again, ignore some of this plastic stuff. That's shipping plastic. Anytime you see something that doesn't look right, it's just a shipping plastic. If I jump in here, though, I'm a 6-footer. Jumping in here, you can see, not hard to get into, and actually enough headroom. So of course it's not a lot of headroom, but it's pretty good. I've sat in small crossovers with a big square roof where I don't fit in. The other thing I like is my legs are pretty flat to the seat here. If you've ever jumped in the back of a Tesla Model 3, Tesla Model S, similar shaped car to these, their seats are terrible. You sit up like this on that, so the rear seats are not comfortable. In this car, you've got really good rear seat space. This seat in front of me is in the comfort access mode. So when I turn the car off, it actually slides backwards to help you get out. You can turn it on or off, and you can set it to go further or less further back. But even further back than I would sit, really good legroom in here, and the width is very good. It's a very wide car, fairly wide car internally. If you have 5 passengers, I don't recommend this car. You can take them legally, but there is the center drivetrain through here. It is a rear-wheel drive designed car, so the drivetrain runs through here because the car sits low. This is fairly tall. The drive shaft has to go through there, but you still see, for 4 passengers, perfectly fine. These are the vents. If you turn them like that, you can see the way they are. They're turned off. I just turned them back on. They echo the front vents, and of course you have cooling and heating. So you can, instead of just adjusting how much air comes through by turning that and that, you can adjust cooler air or warmer air back here. 12-volt port, which again, probably should just be a USB port at this point, and then a USB port as well down there as well. And then of course, if you take kids back here, having the plastic back seats means you can just wipe down these seats, because kids get stuff dirty. They're not going to damage your Napa leather, and you have a little pocket for them to put their stuff while they're here. Speakers in this car everywhere. I can't remember if there's 12, 13, something like that. There's a subwoofer underneath the driver's seat. You've got speaker there, speaker there, speaker there. It is a Harman Kardon sound system. Pretty cool little graphic design in there. And of course the front seats are the same. You've got speaker down low, and then you've got a speaker in the middle and speaker up high. So just speakers everywhere. And the other thing I didn't point out is the roof liner. It is a soft touch suede type feel. And of course the roof is not a panoramic roof, but it's the same style as a panoramic roof. So to preserve rear seat headroom, like they have here, they didn't make this a glass panel, and it is a little bit of a cushiony thing, so it's sound deadening, so it's nice, quiet, and luxurious in here, but you still have the full panel up top there. All right, 67 people are on right now. 47 people have said, you know what, this is worth a like. The rest of you have sat back and go, you know what, the guy's gonna have to earn it. Do me a favor, guys, if I've earned it a little bit by showing you a few things that maybe you haven't seen before, hit the like button. The other thing it does by hitting the like button is it shows people who are like you this video, and the more people that watch these videos, the more pressure I have, both from my bosses and myself, to put more vehicles on. So if you want to see more videos like this, just help it spread. That's how it works. We put on what's popular or what we can. We also do everything, but we'll try to put back on more often what's popular. Down here, we're going to show you lighting in a second, but I just want to show you the trunk. Now remember, there's a lot of ways to open the trunk. Tap that button, tap the remote, or you can set up the smart tailgate. The smart tailgate means I can keep the key fob in my pocket. It's a proximity key. It can sense if the key's nearby. So you don't have to wave your foot underneath the car or do something silly like that when you're standing on snow and ice and sit around. All you have to do is stand there. If you want, you can set this up as an option. Excuse me. But you can stand there behind the car, and it'll sense the proximity key, and the trunk can open on its own. So what it will do is it will wait for a second or two, and then it'll blink 5 times in 3 seconds, and then it'll open the trunk up. Blink and beep. There's our trunk there. Again, I've just retrieved this car from compound, so you've got your floor mats here. There is a cargo net that comes standard there in a bag. You can set that down from the tie-down points and stick it to the ground if you want. That's how I would do it to hold your gear in place when you're driving athletically. There is a spare tire underneath here. LED lights everywhere, including on the outside, including the license plate lights. If we don't show you those later, they're LED lights as well, which is what they should be. Let's grab Teddy Bear here. Teddy Bear is my pal. He's my trunk measurement tool. Now, I do Teddy Bear a lot of different ways. It's a little misleading in this car because we've got nice active suspension in this car, or advanced suspension system. They've got a lot of space for that in here. They have to take a lot of force. So Teddy Bear seems a little squished when I put him between the wheels, but I always start with him up against the rear seats. And you can see you could pretty much fit 2 teddy bears in here. Like, there's a lot of space here. Maybe not, maybe his arm would stick out, but he's definitely got some space. It is a little taller trunk than some of our cars, so if I close the trunk down, the privacy panel would just squish his belly a little tiny bit. However, golf clubs, anything you're gonna take in a regular car, you got a ton of space, and this panel comes out. Then you've got an open space, just like an SUV, fold the seats down, you can fit a lot of large things in there. And when I pull Teddy back into this section here, you can see you've got a lot of length for Teddy. His head tucks in there. He's not even touching the inside. But he's sort of tucked his head in there, so he's got a lot of space. Why do I use a teddy bear? Because basically if I put on a car and filled your screen with a trunk on any other car, you wouldn't have an idea if it's big or small. Throw a teddy bear in there and you can compare between my videos which trunk is bigger and how it all is laid out. Teddy bear has done his job. We'll thank him. Give him a like if you haven't given us a like yet. All right, so we're gonna go back and take your questions, but before we do, I just wanna show you lighting on this car because I think that's worth showing you. And so what we'll do is we'll turn on all the lights and the signals and just show you some of the differences because they have improved this car for 2022. And I think they've done the right things with it. I think a lot of people are really happy with what they see. All right, lights are on. So we already showed you the headlights. Kind of can move around a little bit there. Signal lights in the sides here, which are, of course, you can also see from the back. It's hard to see on video when I film it, but this is a very bright light right here that kind of evenly spreads through the rest of the signal light right there. Again, a little bit more design detail in there. And somebody says, will there be a 2023 Stinger? Yes, there you go, confirmation. I'm on the record. There will be a 2023 Stinger in Canada. Sometimes they give different model years to things. Will there be a next generation Stinger? I'm calling, I don't think so. And 2024 Stinger in Canada, I don't know yet, but there will be a 2023, so we're not done yet. Down here is those LED lights, and of course the LED daytime running lights, LED signal lights, and they are pretty cool in person. It's really hard to film this, but there's a 3D look to it here. Not only look, it is 3D. It jumps out, it's kind of cool. And then a cool little detail to just give you extra running along the side there. So no fog lights, you don't really need them. They're kind of low and bright headlights. And see that sharp cutoff? That's just a really blazingly sharp cutoff. And it just gives you a ton of light here. Again, it looks a little more yellowy in person, but LED lights are awesome because they give you the daylight color at night so your eyes recognize what they see. If there's a squirrel in the road, if there's a rabbit in the road, a raccoon in the road, your eyes will pick it out right away because you're seeing it in familiar light color. And that just makes it driving safer because you right away know what you're dealing with. You're not trying to figure that out. Coming along the back here, again, you can still see that light very well in person, a little bit less so on the camera. But there's your yellow signal lights there, redesigned at the back here. And just an even look across the whole thing. If you see some flickering, that's just the way the camera interacts with those lights. But just kind of a cool, even look. And then the bright LED brake lights are just between here. So you're gonna see a lot of bright LED brake lights in there, as well as the LED brake light up there. So just kind of cleaned up in the back end. It looks pretty cool. And then again, the white LED lights, which look really good, especially with white license plates, just make it look really sharp. So there's your full overview. We're at 67 likes. At this point, we probably should go for at least 70, shouldn't we? We'll try that. I'm just gonna go over some of the questions that I missed, and then we'll wrap this up. And I will go on my Thanksgiving weekend, which again, if you're American, we're celebrating real Thanksgiving right now, and I understand there's an American Thanksgiving that's later, so just wanna break it to you that you're just copycats. All right, here we go. What do we got? Will they bring the KDM Euro Spec sequential rear turn signal lights to North America? If they won't, can't, why? Short answer is they won't. Longer answer is they say that there's a legality issue with that. Now, I know Audi has them and Ford has them on the Mustang. Audi, I guess is the way you would say it. There's some catch about the legality of them, and I don't know what it was. So that's why we don't have the sequential ones, is there's some legal, doesn't quite fit our standards. Regular or premium gas? Good question. Put regular fuel in it, you're totally fine. Put premium fuel in it, if you're going to the racetrack, you're gonna get maximum performance out of premium. For most people, I don't think you're gonna notice a difference at all in putting regular fuel in it for performance reasons. However, yeah, there is a little bit difference there. And let's keep going down here. Any news in 2023 Sportage? What you really mean is 2022 Sport or 2023 Sportage. Yeah, that's our vehicle. Yes, should be out in January. Ish. Everything's kind of an ish right now with the auto market the way it is. Probably see it hybrid soon after that. PHEV in the midsummer probably is what the plan is that I am aware of. So he says, I like this trim. So do I. I think if you're going to get a Stinger, I really like the suede seats. I think that was a good thing that they came out with this year. So there's a suede model. The spoiler I thought would be more offensive than it is. Some of you thought it might be in the rear line. It's not really in your rear line of view at all. So it's not bad there. And I kind of like it on here. Sometimes it looked really large. This is just a nice, appropriately sized spoiler on this car. It cleans up the look of the rear, or adds to the look of the rear end quite nicely, I think. So yeah, it's a pretty cool. You guys can let me know, do you think you like it better? The regular Stinger better or this better? The wheels, I will say, I'm not always a fan of the black wheels, but when they're this open with the red Brembos behind there, I think it's pretty cool. Can you get red seatbelts on the Canadian model? Not unless you go, so yes, but not on the Scorpion trim. If you get the GT Elite, you'll get the reds with the suede. GT Elite with suede, you're gonna get red stitching with red seatbelts. If you get the other trim levels, you will not get the red seatbelts in there. What's the wait time for a 2022 Kia vehicle? Depends on the vehicle, depends on a lot of things. Short answer is I don't know, and we cover this almost in every video. Anybody who gives you a wait time is purely guessing unless they give you a VIN number. So somebody says, you can order this today and I'll have it for you in 3 weeks, and another dealer says I'll have it for you in 3 months. They're both guessing unless they give you a VIN number. If they give you a VIN number, that means the car is scheduled for production or has hit production. Once they have a VIN number, they can be accurate. So don't fall for these guys that are trying to give you what they think you want to hear. Talk to someone who's honest and say, I don't know, but if I had to guess, it would be, I think this long. And once they give you an actual VIN number, then they can be accurate from there. So just keep that in mind. Okay. Somebody says he got an entire gas grill in the back of his Stinger. Yeah, Stinger's crazy practical. Like that hatch may not look huge in the video, but it's for a sports car, it's so practical. What different colors you can select on the interior lighting? Yeah, there's ambient lighting in this car. We should show you that as well. We'll just show you the ambient lighting in a second. I think that's most of the questions. If I missed your question, somebody says they waited over a year for a Telluride. That is highly, highly uncommon. That's not at all normal. There was this time where Telluride got wait times got quite long, but over a year is, I've never heard of that. Certainly not in our area here. All right, let me just jump in here. We'll try to show you the ambient lighting. I assume this car has it. The other ones do. The GT, oh yeah, it has it here. Okay, so you can kind of see it here. Sometimes it's easier to see on camera than for me in person. So I'm looking through the camera. You can sort of see it in there. Let's turn these lights off for a second. All right, let's just cheat a little bit here and go to the ambient lighting section. And where are we? Just wanted to make sure. Again, guys, very first time I'm in this car. So let's go to setup here. Lights. Where are we? Anybody see lights? Anybody? No. Vehicle, lighting. Again, I spent about maybe half an hour with this car before. Well, where are we? Light, there we go. So lights, ambient light. We're going to turn it on to brighter. So brightness, just make sure it's full brightness. There we go. That'll help us see it better. So again, most ambient lighting is only like 4 lighting. So this is, and then we're going to go back. Colors, here's your colors. So of course there's standard colors, which is probably 10 or 12 colors. The colors are not showing up perfectly on camera. I can see that right in my screen right now. Blue, green, purple, violet, they call it, orange light. So why don't we pick something that's probably easy. There's a custom color here and you'll see your color wheel. So set custom color. Yeah, so there's 64 different colors you can have. This color wheel, again, not displaying really well. I think red shows pretty well, so let's just put it in that section. There we go. Red showing pretty well. You can see it up there, shining right behind the screen all the way across the driver's area. And this metallic piece becomes a lit up area as well. It looks pretty cool. There's also, I believe, some lighting underneath there. But yeah, it is an improved ambient lighting system for 2022. And again, the colors aren't showing up perfect here. I don't know what color we should have it on in this car. Green lighting there, you can sort of see it as well. Blue lighting looks pretty cool. So whatever you want to set it up for, you can. And I think we'll leave it there. So 75 people have said, yes, this video is worth a like. You still have the opportunity to be one of the cool people that leaves a like if you want. And again, I'm asking selfishly because it helps our videos, but I'm also asking if you want to see more videos like this, the more likes you give it, the more it'll spread to people like you online that will watch it. When they watch it, we can see the interest. When there is interest, we're going to pull more vehicles in. Head Office pulled some strings to get this video for us. So they understand that we have a following for these cars, but if you guys want to help us out, that helps as well. Okay. Somebody says K5, since May they've been waiting. Yeah, K5s have been shorter demand here. Again, Americans are different than Canadians. Their cars are a little different. Not sure why this car reminds me of an Audi A7. Yeah, me too. I actually like this one better than that. What else we got? Does Carnival SX Prestige come with a spare tire? All Carnivals come with a spare tire. We in Canada don't have a SX Prestige. That's just our SX. But yeah, Carnivals have a spare tire in the middle of the vehicle. You can lower it there. All right, I think we're going to stay there. We get 45 minutes. That's plenty long for this video. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the like, leave a comment, hit the subscribe button. The better this video does, the more we'll show it. We've got more coming in here. Even though this is a limited edition, not every dealer is going to get one of these. We have at least 3 coming in. We have 3 sold already. We'll sell you more if you want them, but you got to buy them quick. So we'll have more of this car coming up. I want to thank everyone for watching. And again, Thanksgiving this weekend in Canada, so we will not be back on Monday, but we are back every single weekday at 2 o'clock. This has been fun. We'll talk to you guys again soon, and yeah, have a nice weekend.